All right. That sucked. That was a disappointing game. No, I'm not passed out. It was, I don't know if you were watching on MSG, it was like there was time left, and then all of a sudden they came back, and there was 3 seconds, and that was it. That was the game. So Knicks lose 103-94. I don't know. This is kind of a funky game because there's nothing you could point to that the Knicks did or didn't do in terms of, other than just making shots, which they were 5 of 22 from 3. So generally speaking, when you're on the road and you're playing the second night of a back-to-back and you go 5 of 22 from 3, and the team you're playing goes 12 of 34 from 3, you are probably not going to win the game. And they did not win the game. Anyone who watched this and says that the first thing that they came away with was something other than Tyrese Halliburton looks really, really fucking good is lying, because Tyrese Halliburton looks really good. I don't, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, the Knicks screwed up, they should have taken him as opposed to Obi Toppin, because Obi Toppin's played now 6 games as a pro. So I think we have to wait a little bit more before we make that judgment. I think, there was a line of thinking that because Toppin's older, he's going to come in right away and bust everything up. Clearly, that's not the case. There's a learning curve for him that's a lot steeper than it is for Halliburton, and it is for some other rookies, including Emmanuel Quickley, even though Quickley was off tonight. So let's see what we get from Toppin in time. I mean, it is disconcerting to see him in situations which are like the one thing that he's supposed to be able to do well, which is post-ups. And he had a couple opportunities there when he was in the second half. I think one was blocked and the other one just he didn't convert. Still, pump the brakes on the Knicks blew this draft pick because I want to see more. Halliburton's great, though. And he's in a perfect situation because he gets to play off of Fox. He gets to play off of Hield. And he doesn't have to be the guy. He doesn't even really have to play point guard. He gets to kind of be like a free safety on defense. He gets to be, basically the role that RJ Barrett's playing on offense for the Knicks, except with more spacing, which is a good transition because I thought RJ Barrett was really good tonight. I thought RJ and Randall were both good. I mean, they both had identical lines in terms of shooting. They were both 8 for 17. Randall obviously got to the free throw line a lot more. And pulled down 15 rebounds. My God, Randall is pulling down a lot of rebounds. He had 26. RJ had 21. I thought they both had, Randall, I can't say had any bad moments. He had a couple, I think he turned the ball over a couple times, maybe forced it once or twice, but Randall played like an all-star. RJ Barrett played like a guy who, as we have seen for the last 5 games, looked like he is going to be an all-star. And I don't know that I've felt comfortable saying that until now, but he did some things that, the late shot clock, like kind of step back off the dribble jumper was really nice. He had a couple nice finishes. His defense, though, if you're looking for any positive to take from tonight, if you're a Knicks fan and you're like, I need to feel good about something after this game, I think the thing you should feel good about is you take a look at Marvin Bagley with the Kings, who was the 2nd overall pick, and RJ Barrett with the Knicks, who was the 3rd overall pick. Different drafts, obviously. But if you're like, okay, RJ, is he Morant? Is he Zion? Maybe not. But the alternative is they could have gotten a guy who would have given you the impact of Bagley. And boy, oh boy, would that be bad, because Bagley's just not that good. So that's encouraging. Like I said, Randall was great. I don't know what else you say. The other thing about, other than the 3-point shooting, I think they said on the broadcast the Kings had 10 or 11 blocks. Like the Knicks were not clean around the rim. They drove a lot. A lot of their shot attempts were from close, but it didn't feel like they were good shot attempts. A lot of guys are at fault for this. I at this point, I'm never quite sure what Knicks fans are going to be mad about on Twitter after a game. Typically, it's that RJ or Elfrid Payton played too much and Emmanuel quickly played too little. Payton played 31 minutes, quickly played 17 minutes, quickly 3 for 9, Payton 3 for 12. I did not think Payton's defense was good. But the one moment that did kind of stand out for me is quickly drove in the fourth quarter there before Tibbs took him out. And it was when the Knicks were making their push, right before they were making their push. And he had Knox wide open in the right corner for a 3, and he went for a contested layup. And it's fine. First of all, if you're close to the basket and you take a shot, it's never a terrible shot, but it just goes to show that he still has a little bit longer to get to before you could say, oh, that dude should be my starting point guard. Does it mean Elfrid Payton should be their starting point guard? Not necessarily. But I just, I don't know that the answer is on this team right now. And I have a feeling the answer may be coming. Not anytime soon, but, I'll put it this way. I don't think Emmanuel quickly is ready to be a starting point guard for an NBA team, even with RJ and Randall and Mitch and, Burks or Bullock around him. But I do think they do, they need to do something, because this is yet another game where their offense is just stuck in the mud, and it's impossible not to point to Payton as part of the culprit for that. You have a starting point guard on the Knicks who went 3 for 12, and you have a starting point guard on the Kings who went, where did Fox go? Okay, 7 for 20, but for 22 points, and his impact was all over this game. So there's no comparison. Bullock had a rough outing, which is why Tibbs left Burks in late, even though Burks was, oh my God, 3 for 14. Holy God. Yeah, it's just you're not going to win a game where your two shooters go, your two shooters. They have 2 real shooters on this team, 3 if you count Knox. So their 3 shooters went, let me do some quick math here, 5 for 23. The 3 really legitimate, catch and shoot guys they have on this team went 5 for 23. And they went on the road, second back-to-back, and they lost by 9. And they were within 2 in the fourth quarter. So all things considered, it's not one to get too crazy about if you're a Knicks fan. It's annoying. You really wanted to fucking win that game, but you can't win them all. Toppin had some couple of nice moments, but he's really not making his impact felt yet. Give it time, but half a season, 3/4 of a season, I'm going to want to expect more from him. Would have liked to see him leave Knox in the game, because that, again, the jumper Knox hit there felt like, okay, Knox is going to start to feel it, and then he got taken out soon afterwards. For as much as people are complaining about rotations, the only thing that I guess I'm not complaining about, but I'd like to see a little bit more Kevin Knox, especially since his defense has been pretty good. All right, let's tap into the chat. Bullock should be out. Way too inconsistent. Defense is overrated to be given minutes. I don't know if I agree with the defense is overrated part. I think Bullock's defense has been really solid. But, he was 0 for 3 tonight. Only took 1 3. They were really guarding up on him, I thought, pretty well. But at the same time, Bullock helped them win the game last night. So I can't agree with that Bullock should be rotation yet. I think Bullock's a trade candidate, and I don't think they'd mind moving Bullock to free up space, because there still is this rotation question hanging over this team once Rivers comes back, but we'll see what happens. John, why no Taj? Hey, Colin, what's going on, man? Why no Taj? I don't know. I love Taj. Taj should play 48 minutes every game. Buddy Hield looks like he has fake teeth that are too big for his mouth. Yes, that is correct. Tibbs should have went small in the fourth with Obi. That's interesting. Yeah, because they were pulling Mitchell Robinson away from the basket to the point that when Mitchell Robinson is not able to make his impact felt on the defensive end, and when other teams are doing everything they can to take away the lob, which it seemed like the Kings were doing, you're right. At that point, I think those are opportunities where you could have gone small. Would it have made a difference in the game? I don't know. To get another shooter on the floor, maybe. But then again, you look at the Knicks, supposed shooters, and none of them were able to hit a shot tonight. So, again, I get asked this question every post game. Who do you think will be out of the rotation when Rivers comes back? I don't know. I wish I had a crystal ball. I mean, Knox and Toppin played the least minutes tonight. It feels like Tibbs is sticking with positional designations, which is to say he's like, so let's say for argument's sake, you're like, well, Noel's going to be out of the rotation, right? Okay, fine. That means he's sliding Obi over to the backup 5. That means he's sliding Knox over to the backup 4. That means he's sliding Burks over to the backup 3 and slotting in Rivers at the backup 2. And I just don't know that I see Tibbs as doing that type of thing. I think he wants to be consistent in like, you're a 5, you're a 4, you're a 3. Like, this is the role you have. And I feel like he's just going to keep juggling between Bullock, Burks, and Rivers. Gosh, I don't know. But I think it's going to be one of those 3, and I don't think it's going to be Burks. So Rivers, Bullock, I don't know, maybe Bullock. There's my final answer. Let's see who's ready to throw Peyton off the Empire State Building. Would Lonzo be an answer at point guard? Here's the problem: Lonzo Ball, last I checked, was hitting 29% from 3. Also, Lonzo Ball's not really a point guard. You know who Lonzo Ball is? Lonzo Ball is Tyrese Halliburton if Tyrese Halliburton couldn't shoot. That's Lonzo Ball. Better defensively. Certainly, much more of a threat in the open court. Lonzo Ball, thrives on the fast break. I think they'll be in play for Lonzo if and when the Pelicans, make him available, which I have no information that they have at this point. I just don't know that Lonzo is not saying he can't help the Knicks. I'm not sure he's the answer to like if you put Lonzo Ball on this team tonight, they win this game. I can't necessarily say that. I miss Raymond Felton too. You know what I miss most about Raymond Felton? I miss how Raymond Felton, when Raymond Felton would hit a big 3, he would get a look on his face like he smelled the world's stinkiest fart. That was my favorite thing about Raymond Felton. And every time I think about Raymond Felton, I think about the face he would make when he would hit a 3. And, gotta love Raymond Felton. What else we got? Would the Knicks have had a better chance of winning if Peyton fouled out with 2 to go? No, honestly, I don't think so because I just, quickly didn't really have it tonight. His decision-making wasn't great. He wasn't hitting shots. I don't know how the Knicks were going to win this game. That's the thing, is like if this team's not hitting shots, it's going to be rough. Last night they were hitting shots. Tonight they weren't. Take a couple more. Would you trade Zion for Julius Randle? I think I would trade. I think if I could get Zion Williamson, I would get Zion. Let's see. Mitch is a serious. Hey, Charles B. Young. Yoon. Charles B. Yoon. Sorry. Mitch is a serious player and a starting center. Fought till the end. We all honestly had questions before the season. Big W. I agree. I thought Mitchell Robinson played a nice game. 12 points, 10 rebounds. I think his defensive rebounding in particular this season has gotten a lot better. And I know you're going to listen to that and be like, he's not getting a lot of defensive rebounds a game. His ability to box out and just make sure that the guy that is his responsibility doesn't get an offensive rebound is a big thing for Mitch. And Julius Randle is going to wind up getting a lot of the actual defensive rebounds, but it doesn't mean that Mitchell Robinson hasn't improved on the defensive glass. And I thought that the times that the Kings got offensive rebounds tonight, and Bagley did get 4 of them, Holmes got 3 of them, they had 12 in total, which is a lot. I felt that was more when the defense was more spread out. And I also thought there were just some bad bounces for the Knicks. I thought the Knicks, boxed out fine. What else we got? He does need to get stronger. I would agree that, outside of Randall, someone said Mitch has impressed me the most this year. I'd have to go with RJ after Randall and then Mitch right after RJ. But they're close. Dame is on paternity leave? When did that happen? Can someone confirm that? Hold on, I'm about to Google Damian Lillard paternity. Here, let's check out Siri. Or actually, just Damian Lillard paternity leave. Is this a thing? No. Why did somebody write that then? That was mean. Okay. He had twins today. Okay, so maybe that someone. Okay, so maybe it's just not on the internet yet. Just tell me straight, man. This is the last question. If we need shooting, at least the threat of it, why is Payton out there at the end of the game for 35 minutes? Because here's the thing. I would like for Tibbs to go with no point guard on games like tonight. Because the offense is going through Julius Randle and RJ Barrett anyway. So if Quickly doesn't have it, which I thought Quickly didn't really have it tonight, and Payton's doing what Payton was doing, which again, 3 for 12 is 3 for 12, and he can't hit an outside shot. Just play your two shooters. The lineup that I'd love to see them play is Bullock, two of Bullock, Burks, or Knox, plus RJ and Randall, and then either go with Mitchell Robinson as a traditional 5 or go with Obi Toppin as a small ball 5. And if you go with Toppin especially, you could switch everything. Still probably going to be a defensive disaster, but I'd like to see that because you could screw around and do some stuff on offense with that group. To follow up with that, it's not Payton's defense because he literally gets cooked every night. Yeah, Payton tries hard on defense and he gets his hands in passing lanes for steals and stuff, but Elfrid Payton's not a good defender. He's not a terrible defender. He makes some terrible defensive plays, and he really does not stick with his guy around screens. And again, he shouldn't be a starting point guard, but he's the best of bad options. It's just a question of sometimes you need to go without a point guard, maybe. But Tibbs is traditional. I'm not going to fault Tibbs for that. He has his team at 8 and 9, so whatever he's doing is working. But all right. I think that's all I got. At least try Obi at the 5. That's what I really want to see. That's the last thing I'll say tonight is, in order to see what Obi has and what Obi is at this level, I think you owe it to him to give him some time at the 5 with either all spacing around him or with effectively spacing around him. So what do I mean by effectively spacing? Is RJ Barrett and Julius Randle spacing? No, but those guys' defenders are not going to leave them. And if they do leave them, Obi Toppin is smart enough to be able to make the right pass. Because if it's one thing we've seen from him consistently is that if there's a pass to be made, he'll make it. He'll find the guy. All right, I lied. I like this question. I'm going to take one more, and then I'm done. Macri, tell me if you see Randle as our franchise power forward. There's no reason for us to accept his team option next year because of Toppin, and with his play recently, we need to trade him while he's at his peak value. This is going to be a conversation probably throughout the season. Forget about picking up his option. They're picking up his option next year. That's done. I know they just drafted a guy to play his position, but it's really hard to get an all-star in the NBA. It's really hard to get an all-star in the NBA. The Knicks have had 5 this century, and I'm counting David Lee. And Julius Randle's an all-star. He's a legit all-star. And that's I guess the thing I'll push back on is it's this notion of trade Randle while his value is at its highest. I don't necessarily think we're seeing Randle when his value is at his highest. I think Randle's value can get even higher because I think Randle's 26 and he's finally figured it out. And he's figured it out here, and he wants to be here. He's clearly bought into this coach, this whatever. I don't know. I'd be really hesitant about trading Randle. If they got the right package back, sure, but boy, that better be some hell of a package. And I don't know what that would be. And they would be 2-15 without Randall. And I agree. Alex, you said I don't get how we build around Randall, RJ, and Obi. I completely agree. That's really very difficult. But there's different moves always out there to be made. And the most important thing to do as an NBA franchise is buy low and sell high. And know when to keep what you got. And I'm not ready to sell on Randall yet. Maybe that'll be a mistake, but we'll see. All right, been talking for 20 minutes about a game that probably I should have talked for about 5 minutes about. Thank you for everybody who stuck around to the end. I will be here on Sunday for a brief post game because I'm going to record a podcast with Jeremy after that one. But I will see you then. Thanks everybody for watching, and let's hopefully get back to 500 on Sunday afternoon. Sunday night. Shit. Sunday night. Fuck, it's late again. All right. Adios.